when I moved towns in 2020, so during the big pandemonium, that was the very first time that I was, away from the people I grew up with. Meaning, I wasn't just like a 3 minute drive away. I wasn't just like a 5 minute drive away. It was a good like 20 to 25 minutes, which in the grand scheme of things wasn't like that bad. You know what I mean? But it really showed me the importance of consideration and also effort. Like sometimes you really just have friends that are there because of convenience and because it's just easy for them to show up rather than them showing up because they really want to. And so even though I was just like a few towns over, I really noticed it then. Like, mind you, it was the pandemic, sure, it was COVID, whatever, but still, it was clear as day to me that the effort was only there because it was easy, not because they necessarily like wanted to show up for me. Whereas like I would have drove an hour to see them anytime, any day, because the distance was never a problem for me. It was just always like I cared about them, period, and I would do whatever it took for me to show them that I cared about them and I love them and appreciate them. I'm very much someone who takes action in doing that stuff. During that time, I think I just realized a lot about the people I was keeping near me, and it wasn't necessarily like a bad thing. I still have a lot of love for them. These are the people that I grew up with through middle school, high school mostly, and even some from elementary school too. So we go way back. But I think what I realized was I cared a lot more about them than they did about me, which is objective. It's not really like a bad thing, but it wasn't balanced, and that's where the problem is. You want to be able to have friends that have your best intentions, want the best for you, are considerate of you, and show you through their actions how much you mean to them. And I just think that I never really had much of that growing up. I just thought like, oh, maybe I'm just like someone who shows through action, and like maybe it's just like a matter of time before they do. But people show you how much you mean to them by how they treat you, and it's less about what they tell you, it's more about how they show up, the actions they take, and stuff like that. So I would say the first time I chose myself was honestly because of the move, yes, but it was also just because I was, okay, TMI. Do I talk about this? I don't know. We'll clip it, if anything. The first time I chose myself was because I just and that was back in a day before I knew better, whatever. And we just talked about it, and then we just knew that we were going down separate paths, and I was at that point like becoming a little bit more religious too, so it was a bunch of different things. But I remember like a few days after, I was down bad. Like I was like losing weight at a rapid rate, and I just couldn't keep anything down. It was like actually like a really big heartbreak for me, because this is a person that I grew up with too, and so saying bye to that whole relationship meant saying bye to that part of me, and it was a big part in that moment. So anyways, if you're watching this, what's up? But a week later, I was just like, crying my eyes out, and this was the time that I was also moving too, so just a lot of moving parts. And I just told myself, I was like, you know what, maybe like this is the sign, this is the time for me to finally focus on myself, because that's what he would have wanted me to do. And then I snapped out of it real quick. I was like, why am I doing this for him? Like, what? Why can't I do this for me? Like, he's irrelevant at this point. Like, let me just do what I need to do for myself, and like stop using him as an excuse for everything. And matter of fact, stop using anyone as an excuse for everything. Like, this is honestly like just for me. And so as someone who never really took self-love seriously, as someone who like thought that was all woo-woo and good to have but like not necessary, like I very much like went down like a rabbit hole of that. And I was like, you know what, I know that the more that you think about something, the more that you focus on something, you eventually become that. And so even if I don't think it's true right now, even if I think it's silly, I'm just gonna like try, and I'm gonna give it my all, and I'm gonna not judge myself for it until I've given it enough time. And so literally to this day, the biggest Pinterest board I have is literally during that time, and I still add to it every once in a while, but it was literally just like a bunch of like affirmations, a bunch of things that I aspired to be, nice things to say to myself, kind things, just like overall a Pinterest board of just positive, good things, right? And I was like, I'm pretty sure if I just like keep this up, I'll think I'll believe some of it, right? And then that paired with, going back to the gym, just doing me, having my own time to myself. Again, it was the pandemic, so it was easier during that time. And what I realized was most of my friends back then, like, they didn't really even check up on me, like, sure, I was like 20 minutes further, but your real friends would, and they wouldn't wait for like a special occasion to finally hit you up, like they would show up, and they didn't. So a lot of my alone time during that moment, when I was like down bad and like figuring things out and finally prioritizing myself, I got a lot of clarity, things that I didn't even know was happening. But truly, like, that was like very first time that I chose myself, because I stopped using other people as an excuse for my own betterment. I was just like, you know what, F it, we're gonna do this and we're gonna see what happens. And that honestly was like the pivot point for me. So shout out to that person. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. And I'm glad that that's over, because in a sense, losing you meant gaining me, and I would do that time and time and again. So for anyone out there who's going through something similar, I know it sounds silly, but honestly, like, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to focus on yourself, truly figure out how to love yourself first, and then everything else will come after that. And that's why I'm like so heavy on telling other people that, especially girls, mostly girls. Um, that's why I'm like so adamant about telling other girls, like, you matter, you gotta give yourself the love that you so easily give to other people. You gotta give yourself the grace that you so easily give to other people. You gotta be kind to yourself. You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta take yourself out on like dates like this, and just be okay with being by yourself, because when you are and you can do that, then you pretty much have like the building blocks to having standards and boundaries, which is something that I didn't learn until 2022, so 2 years later, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, that was the first time I ever chose myself. And 5 years later, I would say that was a really good decision, and I'm really proud of myself for that.